Welcome to Your Health Matters. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name's Karl Sterling. We're thrilled to be here. I have with me Elizabeth Bruce, my co-host. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Fantastic. Can you believe it's the last Sunday of the year already?
No, I cannot. It went by fast.
It went by so fast. We've been doing this show almost a year. Well, I haven't. You joined me back in June, and I'm so glad you did.
Thank you.
Like I said, we started in January this year, January 21st. So we're at show like number 48 or 49. And I just have to say that this has been a great honor. And I love doing this show. So thank you to everybody for listening and putting us in your very high ratings. And thanks to you for helping me.
Oh, you're very welcome anytime.
Well, we have a special episode today, which was promised, right? So as promised, we're going to reflect back this year over some of the interviews that we did and bring you some highlights. I wish we could have all of them, clips from all of them, but then we'd run out of time, right? It would take hours.
Yeah, it would.
So it's been a great year. Man, we've had some wonderful people.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite?
No, not really, but I've learned a lot.
Yeah, me too. So I'm catching you off guard here. We have none of this planned out or rehearsed other than we know what clips are going to be played, sort of. And it's a decision process here as we go along and record the show. But do you have anything in particular you learned that is like the biggest game changer for you this year?
I learned a lot about what's put in our foods and how to avoid it and try to eat more natural foods, substances instead of pre-made.
Is that another way of saying to me that I've ruined your life?
Yes, it's another way of saying you ruined my life.
Oh, folks, I'm sorry if I ruined your life too, but I guess that's what I do for some people. Hopefully, we're really trying to make it better.
Or I could say you opened up my eyes.
Okay. Yeah, we were being funny before, but seriously, that's what I'm here for. I have always had a mission. I've always wanted to educate on something I'm passionate about, and this is it. Health, longevity, health span within the lifespan. And I'll tell you, I've learned a lot this year, too. It's been amazing. Do you have any favorite guests?
Not really. I enjoy listening and talking to a lot of them, and I've learned a lot. Like I said, I don't really have a favorite.
I think maybe Sean O'Mara.
Oh, yeah. I didn't want to say it.
No, that's okay. I'll say it for you. So you might have heard this, but we had Dr. O'Mara, Dr. Sean O'Mara was on back in August or September, and we were on Teams, so we could see him via video, right?
Yeah.
And what did he do? You want to tell everybody what he did?
He lifted up his shirt. And let me tell you, especially ladies, he looks very good.
He did. He looks good. He's a handsome guy. He's taking care of himself. He has a story where, he used to be really overweight. There's some pictures online.
Yeah, there is.
From like 15 years ago. You'd never know it's him.
Oh, yeah, I saw them. I looked him up. It's incredible, his transformation.
I mean, he still look good, still look handsome, but, heavy face. You could see it in the face.
Yep. And he's very nice, though. I enjoyed talking to him.
So personable.
Yeah.
So personable. So, yeah, he showed us the abs that, well, a lot of us would want to have. But they're not the six-pack, though. It's not like that, right?
He's lean and trim, and it's healthy. It's very healthy and doable, which is for us to do.
Totally, because that's an episode where he talks a lot about fat. In fact, we're going to play a clip of him, in the first half hour here. But, one of my favorite episodes, and I have so many, but Kate Shanahan, I interviewed her twice. We aired one of them. The other one will air at some point. But if you want to hear anything, just go to karlsterling.net. That's Karl with a K. And every episode is there. Some of them didn't get aired yet. Wow. So
Kate was good too.
She gave this statistic, and I'm just going to let you listen to it. Okay, so we're going to play a clip from Kate Shanahan that is a real, let's say, thought-provoking thing about French fries, McDonald's French fries. Okay, sorry, McDonald's. And they're also talking about what our ancestors ate. You ready for this clip?
Yes, I am.
All right, here we go, folks. Check this out.
One serving of fries has equivalent, a 5 ounce serving, like a large fries from McDonald's, has the equivalent toxicity to smoking an entire pack of tobacco cigarettes. So what they do is they make it impossible for our cells to manage energy, right? This is a state of cellular imbalance called oxidative stress. And what happens is free radicals will form. They will form in your mitochondria. What are free radicals? They are high energy particles that fly around inside our cells and they kind of tear through our cellular membranes and they tear through our DNA and they are damaging just in the same way as radiation. When I lived in Kauai, Hawaii, it was a whole different world there because people had grown up without electricity. They were self-sufficient. And most of my patients were born on the island that were in their 60s were healthier than people today in their 30s. This is the core truth that all life on earth must obey, right? So if someone's telling you something, ask this question: is that something our ancestors could have eaten or could have done? Did our ancestors have vegetable oils? No.
Yeah.
Did they eat a lot of sugar? No, but they ate some,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we can have some sugar. Did they eat wheat and flour? Yes, but they ate it fresh. They ground it fresh that day.
All I can say is, wow. One thing of fries equals approximately the same damage to your body as smoking one pack of tobacco cigarettes. What do you think?
Uh, I used to be a McDonald's French fry lover, but now I can't even fathom eating them anymore. I can't. It just disgusts me. Actually, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and one of the things that she's, I think, up to, and I'm not exactly sure yet where she's at with this because we're still in the process of Trump's not inaugurated yet. And Marty McCary, Dr. McCary, who's also been on the show, he will be the new FDA commissioner, assuming it's approved. I think he will, no problem. But she's also going to be involved, I believe, in some kind of role in this administration.
Mhm.
And there's a big movement here to change the food supply. How about that thing about Fruit Loops?
Oh, that's extremely interesting. How they're done in our country in two different ways. Some are sold overseas in Canada, but then there's a special kind that is in the United States sold, which is very different from what's in the other countries.
Right, so it's much more colorful.
Yes, the one in our country is much more.
In the United States, Canada has the dull looking Fruit Loops, and Europe has the dull looking Fruit Loops. Why? Because in the United States, the FDA says it's okay for us to use food dye or dyes. And so you get the red dye number this and the yellow dye number that or whatever it is. That stuff is so toxic for us, but it's okay. It's not considered illegal. And they say kids like it more, so they allow it to be sold and people are buying it up and they're getting sick.
And the other Fruit Loops that are sold in other countries is made actually from fruit juice. So, what is better for you, the actual fruit juice or chemicals?
I got to tell you, it's very disturbing. With that, folks, we're going to head out to our first break. But first, we're going to have a word from one of our sponsors. So stay tuned, and we'll be back with more of the year in review here on Your Health Matters, News Radio 570 WSYR. I'll be right back.
Are you ready to unlock your brain's full potential? Introducing the Brain Speed Ball, the revolutionary fun game designed to enhance balance, focus, memory, mental clarity, and cognitive performance. Whether you're looking to stay sharp, boost productivity, or slow down cognitive decline as you age, the Brain Speed Ball is the solution you've been waiting for. Through scientifically backed games, exercises, activities, and strategies, this program engages your mind, strengthens neural pathways, and helps you think clearer, faster, and smarter. Perfect for professionals, students, and anyone committed to lifelong mental fitness, the Brain Speed Ball helps you stay ahead in today's fast-paced world. Best of all, starting at approximately $30, it won't break the bank to take the first step toward a sharper, more vibrant mind. Visit carlsterling.com and go to the sponsors tab today and discover how the Brain Speed Ball can help you achieve your mental best. That's carlsterling.com, Carl with a K. Brain Speed Ball, because a brighter mind means.
right, so we got a lot to get to, folks. Another guest we had on this year was best-selling author, and she's all over everywhere. I mean, it's been amazing to see her and her brother on all the big shows, Joe Rogan, you name it. Her name is Dr. Casey Means, best-selling author of a book called Good Energy. That was insightful, eh?
Yes, it was. I did read some of it. Not all of it, but I did read some of it.
Yeah, game changer information. So let's just jump right to a clip of Dr. Means who's talking about the food supply. All right. And then we'll come back in and we'll sort of break that down. All right. So here's a clip from Dr. Casey Means. Enjoy.
Well, first, I would just mention that we look at the grocery stores and all the boxes and the colorful packaging and all these ultra processed foods, and we think it's normal. And because it's all we see, it's what the grocery stores. You can walk down a grocery store aisle and there's not a single piece of just whole unprocessed real food, right? It's all in boxes. And it's almost so overwhelming how much is ultra processed that we actually forget that ultra processed foods are a brand new invention. This is like last 100 years, really last 75 years, that these Franken foods made in factories have been the majority of the American diet. So we need to unnormalize this reality that we just sort of take as, oh, well, of course it's this way. Of course it's going to be impossible to get rid of all this ultra processed food that causes the disease. It's not. We literally built this in 75 years. We could easily unpack it. People used to eat real unprocessed food, right? And, you know, in the 1850s, over 95% of Americans grew food at home, you know, in a farm or a garden. So we've lost some of these things.
All right. So what do you think of that? I mean, that's really, really interesting and sad.
Yeah.
We have another clip we're going to play from Dr. Means. And it kind of coincides with something written by a best-selling author, a Harvard professor. He's a medical doctor, Dr. Chris Palmer, who I've tried to get on the show. And he's just really busy. We communicate, and hopefully one of these days he'll be freed up and able to join us. But, you know, he talks about the food supply in relation to mental health.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we look at this, we're going to hear from Casey Means about metabolism and mitochondria. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We need our mitochondria for energy. If we have a mitochondrial breakdown or dysfunction, we're prone to all kinds of other problems, like cancers, especially, right? The data's out on this, and it's everywhere. Cancers, type 2 diabetes, insulin problems, dementia, Alzheimer's, who knows what else, right? Because mitochondria is what we need. It's the power pack of every cell in our body. And our food will affect how it functions. But Chris Palmer, Casey Means, talking about food supply in relation to behavioral issues
in children, which is very interesting, because, you know, a lot of kids are put on ADHD medicine or some other kind of medicine for some behaviorals or anger medicine. It's sad that it could be controlled by better food instead of sticking them on something that they might have to be on the rest of their lives.
Exactly. So let's go to that clip.
Yeah, it's complex biology, but one of the ways that this happens is that when fructose is metabolized by our cells, it generates a byproduct called uric acid. And uric acid is a molecule that, interestingly, a lot of people may know about uric acid because it's a relationship to gout, which is when uric acid crystallizes in our joints. And just a PSA here, anyone dealing with gout listening, gout is a metabolic disease, and you can, by and large, fix it through diet. So if your doctor's telling you there's nothing you can do except take allopurinol, I highly recommend you read the book Drop Acid by David Perlmutter.
It's a great one, too.
It's a great book. And Nature Wants Us to Be Fat by Rick Johnson, who's the professor at University of Colorado, who's been the premier researcher on the relationship between uric acid and chronic disease. But uric acid, one of the things it does is actually impairs our mitochondrial function. And the mitochondria, everyone listening might remember from high school biology, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It's the part of the cell that actually makes energy. So you get this byproduct from metabolizing fructose that overwhelms the cell, creates mitochondrial dysfunction, and then that goes on to lead to some of the problems that drive us to be insatiably hungry, because in a sense, the body thinks it's starving. You know, it's not able to make energy if it's disrupting the mitochondria. And in animals, very interestingly, this mitochondrial dysfunction and uric acid buildup in the brain can actually lead animals to be almost like aggressive and violent because they're trying to outcompete other animals for food so they can build fat for hibernation. And so you look at what's happening in children today, we've got all of these sort of behavioral issues going up. And there's some research suggesting there's a link between all this fructose-rich processed food and some of these behavioral issues.
So what do you think of that? That may explain a few of my problems.
And mine.
And, and I'm actually serious about that because when I look at how I used to eat and a lot of the, oils that were in the foods, like what Kate Shanahan calls them, the hateful eight.
Right.
You got the sunflower, safflower,
Sif, yeah.
Vegetable oil, canola, whatever else. There are a bunch of other ones, right? Not like olive oil, which is something that's decent for you.
Coconut.
Right. If I look at that and a lot of the processed stuff, probably easier to say processed stuff. Well, I found that my anxiety, it was higher years ago. This is going back quite a while. I was really having panic attacks and went to the hospital once for it with chest pain. I mean, it was just panic attack. And then, these days though, when I eat poorly or let's say far less than optimal, I feel it. You ever do that and then just feel really lousy?
Yes, a lot. And then I have to realize what I ate and try to, I guess, get rid of it out of my system. Detox, I guess, is the word.
Do you ever feel, and this is a personal question, like I said, folks, we had nothing planned. I'm just catching her off guard here, and you might catch me off guard too, but does it ever cause you to feel like maybe your mood can change? Like, I'll know with me, my anxiety will spike if I eat too much refined sugar.
I don't know about my anxiety spiking, but I do feel sluggish, like depressed, more depressed if I eat too much junk, and I don't feel like doing anything.
Well, that's the story of my life.
No, you're better than I am.
Well, no, I'm pretty good these days. But, we had the episode we did about non-negotiables. I mean, that's something you just have to do stuff to keep yourself living longer and better. Health span within a lifespan needs to improve and increase, right? But to the best of your ability, where you can be, let's say, it's like a preemptive strike on things that might get you one day. You got to get it before it gets you. But the other thing too is if I eat, let's just say I eat a donut and have a cup of coffee. Caffeine doesn't usually affect me like nerve-wise, but I'll tell you, if I combine that with refined sugar, like a jelly donut with confectionery on the outside, forget about it.
I've never witnessed this, and I'm afraid to.
Well, guess what? Tomorrow morning I'm gonna bring one in and I'll show you.
Oh, okay. I know the coffee doesn't affect you. It's amazing how much this man can drink coffee and not be affected by it. Me, on the other hand, I get jittery after about 3 cups.
As long as I'm done by like 9 at night, I'm okay. So, anyways, we're going off. We just want to have fun too. I mean, it is the end of the year. It's a holiday season. I hope you've all been, enjoying the holidays, hopefully with loved ones, friends, family, co-workers, whoever, and taking in the spirit of whatever it is that you celebrate. And maybe you're gearing up for a new year. I know I'm gearing up mentally for a new year. So you're listening to Your Health Matters here on 570. That's News Radio 570 WSYR, and we will be right back.
Are you ready to take control of your health and feel your best? At NeuroMotor Training, we specialize in helping you move better, think sharper, and stay independent for life. Our unique programs are designed to reduce your risk of falls, improve movement and mobility, boost memory and cognition, and enhance fine motor and multitasking skills. And here's the best part. We're the only clinic with a program proven to reverse osteoporosis with our state-of-the-art biodensity machine. Imagine stronger bones and a more confident you. At NeuroMotor Training, your health and independence are our top priorities. Visit us at karlsterling.com or call 315-935-7488 to schedule your first session. That's 315-935-7488. Don't wait to take the next step toward a healthier, happier you. NeuroMotor Training, where better health begins.
segment of 8 segments here. It's so exciting to be back to 2 hours. I can't even tell you how much I appreciate this. A few months ago, we had on a best-selling author of several books, including How Not to Die and How Not to Age, amongst other books. How to Survive a Pandemic, that's another one he did. His name is Dr. Michael Greger. He's an MD. Well, that was a really fun interview. The guy is hilarious. I love him. He's so much fun to talk with. I know you weren't involved in that one. I'm sorry.
Was I even listening? I mean, was I sitting here listening to the recording? I can't remember.
I don't remember either. But one of the things he talks about, because I want to, we're going to go both sides of this, folks. We're going to talk about bad stuff, and we're going to talk about good stuff. So let's go into some good stuff now. And when I say good, what I'm talking about is looking at a preventative type of diet, a preventative dietary lifestyle. And, how what we eat makes up our cells. We're water, we have oxygen, we are what we eat. So let's take a listen to Dr. Michael Greger and just hear a little bit from him for a minute about a preventative dietary lifestyle.
The good news is we have tremendous power over our health, destiny, and longevity, and that the vast majority of premature death and disability risk is preventable with a healthy enough diet and lifestyle. And that is indeed because we are what we eat. Our body, our entire body, is made up of only a few things, which is water, food, air, and sunlight, basically. I mean, that's all. And every year, basically, most of the cells in our body replace themselves. And so it's like, if you're going to, build up your body back every year with shoddy building materials, from the drive-through, well, no wonder we're going to be suffering. Our body isn't going to be able to function at, top capacity. Most people, spend better care, take better care of their cars than they do their own bodies. But look, if your car breaks down, worst comes to worst, you get a new car. But we only got one body. We got to take care of it. Otherwise, we're going to be really dire straits.
Fascinating. I love that one.
It's really good.
He's so dynamic too, his voice, the intonation. That we were only on audio, so I didn't get to see him, and I think he was driving or something. But it was great. I love it. Yeah. His books are really great. He does center more on a plant-based diet, where you're going to get some who are going to talk about, like Dr. Ken Berry. All right, he's going to talk about carnivore. Well, he's talking about it within a specific population too. When we get to him, especially a morbidly obese population and what it can do to help. Another gentleman we had on this year, well, we just mentioned him earlier, Dr. Sean O'Mara, and she's blushing. So
I hope he doesn't listen to this.
in the season of having fun and holidays and all that, I'll just say when I looked over to Elizabeth when we were live in the studio, and he had just pulled up a shirt, I actually had to reach over and pick her jaw up off the floor.
Stop.
Okay, exaggeration.
Mhm.
But just wipe a little drool off your face.
Yeah.
And it was great, though. He's such a nice guy. He talks about this thing called invisible obesity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you heard the episode. If not, go to karlsterling.net, Karl with a K. Scroll down, probably 20, 30 episodes, but it's going to be there. It's Dr. Sean O'Mara. Well, there are people out there who look healthy. In fact, I'll tell a little story. When I was working at Syracuse University the first time, I worked there twice, doing the same work I do here at NeuroMotor training. And so this girl comes in, she's like 20, 21, and she looked really good, like healthy and lean and everything. And come to find out, when I put her on the body composition and measured her body composition, she's what they call, and Dr. O'Mara talks about this in our interview, a TOFI, T-O-F-I. That's thin on the outside, fat on the inside.
Right.
Well, what kind of fat are we talking about? He talks a lot about visceral fat. That's that stuff around the organs, the vital organs, your heart, your liver, your pancreas, your kidneys, and all these things. You can't see it. You can't feel it. But if it's there and if it's high, it's very, very bad for you. It's like heart attack fat. It's possible to be thin and look lean and healthy and be fat on the inside with that unhealthy fat.
But you know what I like what he talked about is that everybody needs a little fat to look healthy.
Hence the abs without the cut six-pack.
Right. Exactly.
but it's still
Yeah.
a good looking set of abs that he has. So yeah, it's interesting. And then he talks about the two layers of subcutaneous fat, the outer layer being the healthy.
Right.
And I didn't even know this until that day. He talked about the next layer, the deeper layer of subcutaneous, not healthy.
Right. Not healthy at all. But
No, much like visceral, very bad, very dangerous, where you're going to be at a higher risk of all kinds of health problems. So let's go into talking about. We're going to listen to a clip. It's about 3 minutes long. Dr. Sean O'Mara talking about invisible obesity and visceral fat. Here we go.
Emphasize that term, invisible obesity. What's that mean? You cannot see it. It's fat you can't see. If you can't see it, you definitely can't feel it. So it's very, very different than in fat that's called subcutaneous fat. Sub for just below, cutaneous, just below the skin. That fat you can both see and feel. Pinch and inch. Remember that little phrase, pinch and inch? You can grab these rolls of fat or a little bit of layer of fat or a big, gigantic, huge amount of fat. That is subcutaneous fat. That's very different than the fat that's deep in your abdomen called invisible obesity or visceral fat. The medical term, just so I can sound a little more sophisticated, is visceral adipose tissue. Visceral adipose tissue. But you'd be better off just thinking of it as visceral fat. And I prefer you to use that particular term. And let me just throw it in a challenge. If you've got any medical condition, you just go to your Google box, your Google search or Chat GPT or your favorite search engine, type in your medical problem, visceral fat, and then hit return and see all the studies that come up showing the contribution that visceral fat is playing with your medical condition. And you'll be astounded that this is being kept from you. Mm-hmm. It's all in science, but the doctors just don't know about it. Neither do you because they're not telling you about it. So visceral fat, you can't feel it. You can't see it. It's deep in your abdomen. The subcutaneous fat, you can feel and you can see it because it's kind of fat on the outside. Now, as it turns out, the stuff deep in you is the stuff that's really bad. So there are people that are, we call them, TOFIs. Thin outside, fat inside, TOFIs. Thin outside, fat inside. So those are people that are skinny and have this deep visceral fat inside them, and they don't know it. So they're walking through life thin. They think they're so good, then they drop over dead of a heart attack or have a heart attack or get cancer. And so you cannot tell by the size of your body whether you have one of these deadly fats, collection of fat going inside of you. So as it turns out, TOFIs have a higher level of mortality than people that have a lot of fat on the outside.
What do you think of that one, huh? That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I love it.
So with that said, folks, we have to go to a break. You're listening to Your Health Matters. This is Karl Sterling. My co-host Elizabeth Bruce is with me, and we'll be back right after this short break.
Are you ready to strengthen your body, improve your bone density, and take control of your health? Meet biodensity, the revolutionary technology that transforms the way we build strength and fight against bone loss. With just one session a week, biodensity helps you safely apply high levels of force to your bones and muscles, stimulating natural growth and improvement. It's scientifically backed, non-invasive system proven to increase bone density, build type 2 muscle fibers, lower A1C, and reduce fall risks. Whether you're recovering from an injury, managing osteoporosis, or simply looking to maintain a strong, healthy body, biodensity is for you. Best of all, it's quick, efficient, and perfect for people of all fitness levels. Don't let age or health concerns hold you back. Experience the difference biodensity can make in your life. Visit karlsterling.com and go to the sponsors tab to learn more and schedule your session today. That's karlsterling.com. Biodensity, because stronger bones means a stronger you.
Sean Amara was so much fun and interesting about the visceral fat and the different types of subcutaneous, the two layers, right?
Yeah, yeah. I really like the fact that we have to have a little fat in our bodies.
Makes me feel good about that donut I ate.
Yeah, and the fries I ate last night.
You didn't tell me you ate fries.
Sorry.
After all these, no, I'm only kidding. Hey, we're gonna go off once in a while. We're gonna eat some stuff once in a while. It's not gonna be bad. It's when you make a lifestyle out of it. When it's every day, your lunch becomes a drive-through it wherever. Even Chick-fil-A has, I think, it's 45 ingredients in one piece of chicken. The chicken that's not deep fried and not breaded or whatever. And if you found out what's in it, I'm sorry, Chick-fil-A, you know, it's not good.
No, I actually just saw something on Instagram about Chick-fil-A. Did you send it to me? I can't
Probably.
remember. Okay.
Yeah. I got stuck in the feed. So, along with that, though, let's talk about what Dr. McCary says. So, one of the things that we find often is people will come in, and I'm excited to get this new bod pod coming in. Got a new body composition scanner coming in that also measures bone density within 2% accuracy of a DEXA scan. What do you think of that one?
I'm very excited about that because I've had an experience and you know about it, but I'm
Yes.
excited that it's going to happen.
Yeah, so we'll be able to measure that, and it'll be really good. But it'll measure visceral fat. Well, I have a unit now I've used for a long time, and it's been very, very good. And it's been tested against other products, so we know it's very accurate. But the new one's going to be even more accurate. And when we see readings come out, which is very common to see, and I am among these people with a higher than optimal visceral fat. We don't want that excess fat in our around our internal organs. The nickname for visceral fat is called heart attack fat. Now, what Sean Amaro talked about in the episode, which we didn't play that clip, but how do we get rid of that fat? My reading, like between 1 and 12, not percent, but a number, a score. My 1 to 12 is healthy. I was at a 13, but it was down from a 15, down from a 14. Now it's 13. I've been 11. I've been 12. I'm up to 13. I had a lot of anxiety this fall. Mom passed away and a bunch of other stuff. So it went up a little, but I know how to get it down. And I'm really want to hear about it. Okay, so what Omar talks about, if you go to that episode, and I've been doing this, when I go to the Y and work out, I'll do my heavy lifting and then some sprinting. It's all about the sprinting. Okay, it doesn't have to necessarily be a sprint on a track or outdoors or on a treadmill. But that is the optimal, though, because your whole body is working hard. It's not like you're just doing the ergonomic ski machine like we have here, which is great. You can sprint hard on that. You can do ropes. You can be shaking the ropes, the rope exercises, and that can get your heart rate up. You could be boxing. But when you're sprinting, if you're able to sprint safely and not pull a muscle, tear a ligament, fall down, get hurt, strain yourself, do what you're able to do, but sprinting is going to be the best. So this is going to be somewhere in like 15, 20 seconds, all out sprint as fast as you can go.
What about a running in place? Would that count? Like if you're like high kicking, running in place?
Jump roping.
Jump roping? Okay.
Absolutely, because I think the ultimate, though, is sprinting and actually even going up a hill, which during the nicer weather, I was doing hill sprints at Van Buren Park because I love that hill.
Yeah.
And I would do a 1-minute sprint. Or less. Actually, I was between 40 seconds and 1 minute, depending upon how I felt that day and the distance that I go for my sprint. I have a distance I go on that hill. But jumping in place, excellent. Good for bone density, too.
Yes.
Because you're pounding on the ground, you're getting ground reaction force, vibration forces into your body, absorbed through your tendons, your fascia, and right into the bone. So you're creating trabecular soft bone tissue to help with osteoporosis or just keeping your bones strong. But sprinting is best. If you can't sprint, find something else to do. You could, Well, arm sprints. If you just take or just ghost boxing, shadow. I'm thinking about ghost peppers. They're on my mind all the time. If you just do shadow boxing and just do a 30-second all-out sprint, like, and you're punching, well, at least your upper limbs are moving. You're going to get your heart rate up, and it's going to be a very good way to work on visceral fat. Okay, you could be on a bicycle, you could be on a rowing machine. You just want to go maybe 20, 30 seconds really hard, all out, or maybe on an air bike, one of those ones with the fans on them where the handles move and you get all exhausted real quick. Maybe 15, 20 seconds on that. Then go light for 45 seconds or a minute, and then go hard again. So sprinting's going to be the best way, exercise-wise. And of course, we have the nutrition factor. Just eat clean, healthy, lean foods and eat good, healthy fats. If you don't know what they are, well, get online. You can find it out. Or you can text me and we can set up a time to get together and put together a nutrition plan for you, right? KarlSterling.com. That's Karl with a K. So visceral fat, you don't want it. Sprinting and a good diet are going to help you get rid of it. With that said, I want to segue now to the next portion of subject matter. I want to introduce a clip by Dr. Marty Makary, who is going to be the new FDA commissioner. And guess what? He said to me last week he'd be happy to join us again. He's not allowed to talk and do media right now until after the inauguration. But once that happens, folks, we're going to get him back on. He said he's happy to come on and talk. So let's listen to a clip from Marty Makary and then break it down.
We're going down a very dangerous path in the United States. 20% of children are on medications. That's not a good indicator of the health of our country. Who's working on this stuff? We can't just keep going down this path of medicating every problem. We need to talk about school lunch programs. We need to talk about treating high blood pressure by addressing sleep quality that increases vascular muscle tone. Not just putting everybody on an antihypertensives like a reflex. We need to talk about treating more back pain with ice and physical therapy, not just surgery and opioids. We need to talk about treating more people who have irritable bowel syndromes with changing their diet. And maybe we need to talk more about environmental exposures that cause cancer, not just the chemo to treat it. We've got to talk about food as medicine, general body inflammation, and our poison food supply.
So that's really interesting, sad. The good news is that they're out to make a change. This administration is out to make a difference. Of course, it's the saying, make America healthy again. That's great. We want that. What's happening in the school lunch programs in most places, the hospital meal programs.
Yeah, then it doesn't sound good, folks.
Oh, no. It's horrific. It really should be considered a crime, in my opinion. With that said, folks, we do need to go to a break. We'll come back after the top of the hour news break. And we've got a whole lot more for you, including Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Luisa Nicola, Dr. Dominic D'Agostino, Mark Victor Hansen, Ellen Langer. Lots more to talk about. You're listening to Your Health Matters here on 570 WSYR, also available on 106.9 FM. See you in a minute.
Are you ready to take your health and fitness to the next level in just minutes per day? I want to introduce you to the Power Plate. We have 5 Power Plates in my clinic, and it's a revolutionary fitness tool designed to transform lives and bodies. With its cutting-edge whole-body vibration technology, Power Plate activates more muscles, increases circulation, and improves flexibility, all while reducing strain on your joints. So whether you're looking to build strength, boost endurance, or speed up recovery, Power Plate is the game changer you need. It's backed by scientific research. It delivers results quickly, making it the perfect solution for anyone from the elite athlete to the everyday fitness enthusiast. You can get a full body workout in just 15 minutes. So go to KarlSterling.com, Karl with a K. Go to the sponsors tab, scroll down, click on Power Plate, and check it out.
The preceding was a paid program by Karl Sterling. The content of this show is that of Karl Sterling and does not represent the views of the station or iHeartMedia. Some of the information contained in this program has not been approved by the FDA, nor is it intended to diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any diseases. Information has been for general information only, and before considering anything discussed, you should contact your doctor or primary care physician.
Okay, we're back. I want to dive right into a segment from Dr. Ken Berry. He's based in Tennessee. He has a huge following. Just on YouTube alone, I think he's at 3.2 million followers. He's a classically trained medical doctor with a family practice, and he's been on all the big shows. So he took a while, a couple of weeks ago, and he joined me. So I want to air a clip where he's just going to be very blunt with you, but I think it's real important to keep in mind what he says. So here's Dr. Ken Berry. Go ahead.
Let me just tell all your listeners, let me be very blunt. There are way worse things than having a heart attack and dying. Okay? Karl just mentioned dementia, stroke, heart attack that doesn't kill you. You wind up in the nursing home waiting for the minimum wage person to come and clean up your dirty diaper, and you get to stay there for the next 20 years. There are way worse things than just having a heart attack and dying. Dementia being one of the worst. It's torture for you, and it's torture for all your family members who want to love you. They try to love you, but you're in the nursing home and it never smells great there. And so that's why I encourage people, look, I know that January 1's coming, but you don't have to wait till then. You need to get started with this right now. You can actually start my 5 little simple steps with your very next meal. You don't even have to wait till tomorrow. The next time you eat, follow my 5 little simple steps that I gave you earlier, and you're going to start to heal metabolically.
Absolutely. And it's funny, I wanted to say what you said, but you said it so much more eloquently than I could. Thank you for all that, because like I say, folks, I say this a lot of times, whose burden do you want to be down the road? So to try these things, this is not rocket science, but Dr. Berry's giving us information here that can change our lives, our quality of life, and elongate the health span within the lifespan so we feel good and we want to exercise and play. Doctor, if people want to get you, I have your website here. It looks like it's drberry.com. That's DRBERRY.com.
Yeah, where I'll be. You'll notice something unusual about my website. I'm not trying to sell anything. I don't have any supplements. If you want to buy a book, that's fine, but I'm not trying to sell you on anything. I'm just trying to help you improve your health.
So that was kind of blunt, but I really liked it.
Me too.
There's no question about what we should be doing. And, sometimes I may come across with a little bit of a porky attitude or something like that. And it's only because we preach this stuff every day, at our clinic, and we try not to go overboard and upset people and, turn them away. We don't want them to feel like they're not welcome or they're doing bad things. I eat potato chips. I eat the occasional fries. I eat the occasional processed food, but I don't make it a habit to do it every day, every meal. There could be days I don't go without. I don't have any of that stuff. And then a few days in a row I have some, but the reason I may come across a little bit like with an attitude sometimes is because when is now a good time to take the information, especially if you're into, listening to the show, which you are, I am grateful and I appreciate it. But we do this for a reason. We're here to spread the word, to bring you education so that you are enlightened and you can make better, more informed choices and decisions. And when will many of you start doing that? A lot of you already have. So I want to say bravo.
Congratulations. It's not easy. I understand. When I go to the store, instead of buying a big, huge thing of chips, if I feel like having potato chips, I buy a smaller pack. And that way I'm not eating as much. But it is difficult.
I'll second that. It is so easy. And it's been made to be easy to buy these convenient things, which, they're there for a reason, and sometimes they fulfill a purpose. And but when it becomes a lifestyle of buying convenience and processed, well, that's a different story. You're either going to pay now or you're going to pay later. And if you think it takes time to be healthy now, see what it's like making time to be sick and maybe even bedridden.
But what I'd like to say is if you have young children, if you're a younger couple and have smaller children, trying to start having them eat healthier now so they have a better lifestyle as they get older, and try to teach them the difference between good and bad food and to look for the more nutritious stuff for them. So it's, they have a healthier lifestyle and they'll probably have better results in school and sleep and everything in every area.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So on that note, folks, we're going to head out to another break. When we come back, we have another clip from Dr. Ken Berry. He's going to talk about the big cholesterol myth, so be sure to stay tuned. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes.
Are you looking for a way to boost your mental clarity, sharpen your focus, and support brain health? I want to introduce you to a product I've been taking for well over a year, and that is the Dr. Lewis Daily Brain Care Formula, an all-natural solution designed to help you unlock your brain's full potential. It's packed with ingredients proven to enhance memory, support cognitive function, and protect against mental decline. So whether you're looking to stay sharp at the office, improve your concentration, or just looking to keep your mind active as you age, this formula is for you. It's backed by science, it's trusted by thousands, and it's never been easier to nourish your mind from the inside out. Don't wait to take control over your brain health. Get the clarity and focus you deserve today with the Dr. Lewis Daily Brain Care Formula. Go to karlsterling.com, that's Karl with a K. Go to the sponsors tab, scroll down, click, and check it out.
The entire medical community, and indeed all of modern society, has been completely bamboozled about this cholesterol thing. It was one of the first lab tests that we could check back when we were starting to learn how to check different biomarkers in the blood. And so typically if a doctor can check something and you get a black and white answer, then that they like that, right? That's like, yeah, okay, now we're going to make decisions based on that. The problem is they set up the algorithm for making decisions based on that long before they understood all the physiology behind it. The truth is that your brain is made of cholesterol. Every nerve in your body is made of fat and cholesterol and is surrounded by a myelin sheath that's made of fat and cholesterol. Every membrane of every cell in your body is made of fat and cholesterol. Your body wouldn't use a dangerous molecule to make every single cell in your body. That would be dumb. And one thing Mother Nature isn't is dumb.
That's true.
Cholesterol is a health molecule. It is literally what gives you your optimal health. And so to take a pill to lower it, or to take an injection to drastically lower it, that would be like taking a pill to lower your oxygen level, or taking a pill to get all the water out of your body. That doesn't even make any sense. You've got to have those things. Those things are good for you, not bad for you. Cholesterol is the same thing, but cholesterol got demonized very early on. And that's why we see the entire explosion of low-fat diets, of plant-based diets, of vegan, vegetarian diets, is because by definition, you have a very low intake of saturated fat and a very low intake of cholesterol. That's why they thought those diets were healthy. Turns out that's not true at all.
Okay, so the big cholesterol myth, we just heard about it. I'm not a doctor, you're not a doctor, right? So you need to talk with your doctor, because your doctor's going to have an opinion on this. What we know is the experts are talking about the cholesterol myth, like you just heard from Dr. Ken Berry, and you heard it from Dr. Nathan Bryan, you heard it from Dr. Sean O'Mara, if you listen to the whole interviews, Dr. Luisa Nicola, a whole bunch of them. Cholesterol is really good for our brain. We need it for our brain. And like a lot of them say, if they want to make you sick, they'll try to get your cholesterol under 200 by putting you on a statin. And so I'm not saying don't do the statin, and I'm not saying have your cholesterol over 200. But I know that my doctor, when mine came up higher, a little bit higher than the 200, he said, here's what we're going to do, Karl. If you decide you want to do something about it, try a statin. You're welcome to do so. You know how I feel about it, then you know what the book says. You decide. If he was really concerned, he would have put me on a statin. So I'm not too concerned, but You have to make your own informed decisions and do what you feel is best for you. And perhaps you are a doctor listening and you disagree, and that's totally okay. With that said, we'll be back with more of Your Health Matters here on News Radio 570 WSYR. See you. Welcome back, everybody. One of my favorite guests was Dr. Louisa McCullough, and you met her, right?
Yes, I did when you were filming or doing the audio for her. I met her. She's a very sweet lady too.
She's just so easy to talk with. Just about everybody has been that way. And we have a new microphone for Elizabeth, so that means when we pre-record, she'll always be with me.
Oh, great. I'm sorry, people.
No, it's always good. You add a fresh element to this show that it wouldn't be the same without you. I appreciate you doing this with me.
I enjoy it.
Me too. Me too. And plus, then you get to interact and meet with all these people.
I know. It's amazing to meet all these people, even if it's over Zoom or chat or whatever you call these things.
Yeah, it's fun. So I would like to start talking about an episode I did way, way back, like the second or third show. And I had people looking at me like I had three heads. The importance of building muscle mass, building and maintaining muscle mass throughout the lifetime. It's like people looking like, why? Now, hopefully, after you listen to this show enough, you realize why it's so important. I mean, we kind of need the muscle. Have you ever met anybody like in their 70s, 80s, 90s who says, oh, darn it, I have too much muscle?
No, I have not met anybody like that. I've seen people that could use a little less muscle, but
they're usually not 90 years old.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so I don't think we haven't run across a situation, and I say this somewhat facetiously, obviously, because most people need more muscle. All right, so let's listen to Dr. Louisa McCullough talking about muscle, and in particular talking about women's health, but also the muscular system being like a natural pharmacy for the body. So here is Dr. Louisa McCullough.
Especially amongst women. I love speaking to women because I am a woman, and I see a lot of women who are coming to me at that menopause, they're around 50 years old. They're like, Louise, I'm perimenopause. I'm going into menopause. And they're scared about getting dementia. They're scared about getting Alzheimer's disease. The first thing I say is, do you do resistance training? Because resistance training is where the magic is. Your muscles are like pharmacies, and they hold these medications inside them that are there to protect and serve your brain. They hold these things called myokines. They are muscle-based proteins. And when you contract your muscle, these myokines seep into the blood, and they go and affect different organs in the body, especially your brain. They help with brain cell growth. They help with executive functions. They help with inflammation. They help fight off cancer.
I think that short clip is very compelling, right? I mean, we need to have the muscle and all the things it does for our brain and our body.
I've seen people that don't have it, like, especially through the clinic, they need more muscle. It's very important to have that muscle to be able to move and get up and do things. It is.
It's the foundation for all things movement. I am going to repeat this. It is the foundation for all things movement. If you have healthy bones, or even reasonably healthy bones, and a good set of nervous systems like your central and peripheral, everything is firing right and moving right, but you don't have enough muscle, you are at a higher risk of falling. Chances are your bones aren't as dense as they need to be because you're under-muscled, and therefore you're at a higher fracture risk. Muscle is everything for movement. It's actually technically the largest organ in the body.
Yes, you've been telling me this now for 2 years.
I know. They used to say, I remember they used to say, what do you think your largest organ is? Well, it's your skin. Well, that's an organ too. Muscle is more. Muscle is the organ of longevity. I can't emphasize this enough, my friends. I cannot say possibly enough how important muscle is. You don't have to be going out lifting weights, 5 days a week for 4 hours a day. You just need to do something. And if you have questions on that, then you get a hold of us. That's what we're here for. And we have the ultimate equipment to make your workouts super short, super efficient. You don't even need, you're not going to sweat during this particular workout using our biodensity machine, which helps build bone density. And you've heard it before. I'm going to tell you again, we have people coming in all the time who've been doing this 6, 8, 9 months, 10 months a year, who are reversing osteoporosis, reversing osteopenia, getting stronger bones, and getting more muscle mass, and getting stronger, getting faster, and having more endurance, and getting improved balance. Now, like I said before, there's an investment in this. Insurance will not pay. If you want insurance to pay, it ain't going to do it. But you're going to pay one way or another someday, either now or later. You're going to pay somehow, more than likely, either being under-muscled, have problems later, or have enough muscle, live a better life. Like I said before, and I didn't make this up, I actually heard this from Dr. Gabrielle Lyon saying, if you think making time for health is hard, try making time for sickness.
That's very profound.
It's an excellent clip I saw of her. It's so true. It's so true. So we heard from Dr. Luisa Nicola. Now, I would like to also bring you a clip from Dr. Dominic D'Agostino, medical doctor in Florida. One thing he doesn't talk about in the upcoming clip that I want to include in this is how cancer is starting to be recognized amongst some of the leading physicians out there as more of a metabolic mitochondrial dysfunction, metabolic disorder than it is genetic. Statistically, about 20% of people with cancer have a family history, and the rest have a poor metabolism. They're not moving enough. They're not eating the right things. They're not strong enough, whatever it is. But let's listen to the effects of exercise being anti-cancerous and also as metabolic therapy. Here comes Dr. Dominic D'Agostino.
Yeah, I think exercise is a very powerful metabolic therapy, and exercise oncology is a rapidly emerging field. And we know that exercise not only is a metabolic therapy that helps to get metabolic biomarkers sort of optimized or improved in a way that can help with the metabolic management of cancer, but the muscle is sort of even an endocrine organ and secretes different factors that have anti-cancer effects. Exercise will augment the immune system in ways that can help enhance the natural killer cells that can then go on and recognize existing tumor cells. So help your immune system kill off cancer cells.
Okay, well, that's pretty cool, right? So by exercising actually being anti-cancerous.
Yeah, that's cool. Because there is cancer in my family, so I'm just going to keep exercising.
Yeah, it's like I was telling somebody recently, I'm almost afraid not to exercise.
Me too. And I've been lazy, I admit, but I'm trying. I'm getting back on track.
Might you have had a little bit of extra cookies and things?
Okay.
It's the holidays.
It's the holidays.
Or thank you, Val, for the carrot cake.
Oh, that's and it's delicious.
All right. We're heading out for a break, folks. This is Your Health Matters here on News Radio 570 WSYR. We'll be right back. All right, friends. If we didn't have sponsors, we would not be able to do the show. So I would like to talk with you about a special sponsor. The name of this company is called Play On Relief Pain Spray. This is very unlike traditional treatments for pain. Play On uses a special technology called DuraCool. This, when you spray it on, it applies an invisible medicinal film directly onto the skin. Just spray it, you leave it. You don't even have to rub it in. Right? In this formula are a couple of really cool ingredients. One of them is menthol, and we have camphor, and we have arnica. There's no big pharma. There are no chemicals. This is not a medicine yet. Spray on, and you're going to feel the Play On relief for probably 2 to 3 times as long as other leading things like Voltaren and other, things like that a lot of us are familiar with. So if you want to check this out, you can get a discount by going to karlsterling.com. That is Karl Sterling with a K, karlsterling.com. Go to the sponsors tab, Scroll down the page and you'll see the discount code to save 15%. Play On Relief Pain Spray is a one of a kind. We highly recommend it. All right, folks, so welcome back to Your Health Matters. So we're going to, this last half an hour, these last two segments, really want to put a positive, inspiring, hopefully motivational spin on things because, we've gone through a lot of the bad stuff and talked about this and that. And it's easy to talk about that because everyone wants to hear about the bad stuff, right?
No, nobody wants to hear about bad stuff, but
it sells.
Yeah. And it is important to know what's bad and what's good too.
Absolutely. So we can make these informed decisions. And I never did finish what I was thinking earlier about when I come across a little bit with like a little porky. Well, it's because I just wonder, like, I even get upset at myself. So I can use myself as an example. Like, when is now a good time for me to make a good decision? Fortunately, I do it most of the time, but once in a while I go off. Like, that donut this morning, that sat in my belly like a rock, and I really didn't feel good for about an hour. And I probably won't have another donut for like 3 months, But anyways, I'm going to go right into a cool thing from one of my favorite guests who I've had this year was Mark Victor Hansen. He's an entrepreneur. He's well known for his writings. He's written so many books, including a co-creator of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. And one of the things I really like that he talks about is the separating from negativity, okay, and being positive, the power of free will. This might be harder said than done, but we actually have the choice to make our own thoughts, most of us, I would say. And when I get into a negative thought pattern, I mean, you ever have something like that?
Yes. I was Miss Negativity for a very long time, and I've been practicing positivity for a long time. But like Dr. Ho says, that was one of your other guests that was on a couple of weeks, that it's not always easy to think positive. You're going to have negative thoughts, but you have to bring yourself out of it, and you have to learn how to do that. And it's important to learn.
Yeah, I found actually for me, and we'll get to Mark Victor Hansen in a second here, the power of free will and separating yourself from negativity. I literally, this sounds so ridiculous to some people, but I really just have to stop, take a breath, and be thankful that I can actually do the things I do, and I have the people in my life that I have, and I have a business, and I have this wonderful show I get to do. I never think of the show as, oh, I got to do a show. No, I want to do this show. But there are certain things in life we don't always want to do. But let's get into the positive side of things here with Mark Victor Hansen. Here we go.
Your free will. The great question, Karl. You got to direct your free will. And when I went bankrupt, it was because I was reading all the bad news fit to print. I couldn't get enough bad TV. And what you got to do is you got to do a hiatus on negativity and say, look, I'll watch the review shows on Sunday morning with whoever, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's Fight or Maria, whatever you want to do, but close down and limit yourself to 1 hour. But make sure your first input in the morning is some positive, uplifting book, audio, or music. And then last thing before you go to sleep, the first thing you ask is, how do you know how do you get your energy to go to 100% peak? Here's what happens. We teach in our book, Ask, right there, Ask, British Redeemer's Destiny, 101 times before you go to sleep. After the dogs have stopped barking, the kids are put to bed, the spouse doesn't need anything, the telephone's not going to ring, and you go 101 times, God, what is your destiny for me? 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 Now, you got to be ready because God's going to tell you.
All right. So I really love that clip. And I also want to have you hear from somebody. Her name is Dr. Ellen Langer. If you happen to listen to that show, that was one of my favorite interviews. She's funny. She even makes fun of herself for being a smoker, right?
So, that's great.
I mean, whatever, we all have our things, right? And Ellen Langer in this upcoming clip, one of my favorites, she talks about a study. Now, this is getting into mindset again. I really want to focus on mindset with this segment because we just heard from Victor Hansen about separating from negativity, the power of free will. Let's listen to what happens when they retrofit a retreat to whatever time period it was back for these gentlemen. I believe it was the Havana study. Take a listen to this, and we'll break it down when we get back.
So we have lots of studies, and the very first study on this is a famous study, and I can call it a famous study because if your listeners go to The Simpsons Go to Havana, they discuss the study. And if you're all Simpsons, you know you've made it. Okay. The first study was very simple. We did a long time. We retrofitted a retreat to 20 years earlier and had elderly men live there for a week as if they were their younger selves. They talked about events that happened in the past as if they were just unfolding. Everything was as if now was then. As a result of this, in a very short time, less than a week, we found their vision improved, their hearing improved, their strength, their memory, and they looked noticeably younger. Not 20 years younger, but still younger. So that was very exciting. And then we've gone on to do many, many studies. I'll tell you about a couple of them.
Sure, please.
If you want the full range, they should take a look at the mindful bodies. The next one in the study, we take chambermaids. The chambermaids, everybody knows, are the women who clean hotel and motel. So first, we just ask them, how much exercise do you get? Now, these women are exercising all day long, but they think, according to the Surgeon General, exercise is what you do after work. So they think they're not getting any exercise. But let's
just hired, right? So they don't want to go because they're tired.
Right. If exercise is good for you, they should be healthier than similar others who are not, socioeconomically similar others who are not exercising. It turns out they're not. Okay, then we divide them randomly into two groups. Very simple. We teach one of the groups that their work is exercise. We say making a bed is like working on this machine at the gym. Cleaning the windows is like working on this other machine, and so. So now we have two groups. One group that knows their work is exercise, the other group that doesn't. We take lots and lots of measures. At the very beginning, the two groups are the same. After the study, we find that neither group is eating more than the other. They're not exercising anymore. Nevertheless, we find the group that now changed their minds and see their work as exercise with nothing else changing, lost weight. There was a change in waist-to-hip ratio, body mass index, and their blood pressure came down.
So I love that study, of those studies, the one of the thinking of your job as exercise, and the ladies who were the chambermaids who thought of their jobs as exercise actually came out on the better end of it with lower blood pressure and all this other stuff. I mean, it's pretty cool versus the ones who looked at it as, oh, I got to go to work and then I don't have time to exercise.
My job is exercise.
Yeah, that's true. You've got a job as exercise. So,
understand though, like having the right mindset.
Yeah. So we got one more clip coming up here in this segment from Mark Victor Hansen. Let's go to it right now. Here's Mark Victor Hansen.
That's it. That's the underwriting. And let's go back to the first thing you said, is that instead of saying I'm not worthy, which is what the world teaches, you got to start to say I am worthy. I am important. I'm here to make a difference that makes a difference that has a lasting, impactful difference. And people that really succeed have gigantic goals, like they're called moonshots, right? Or BHOGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. And when I said I would sell 1 billion books, people went, this guy's not. And it's, by the way, one of the reasons we got turned down 144 times. It's my fault, not Jack's.
The beauty of that clip, folks, is we can all make a difference. And that's going to be something we talk about when we come back. The last segment is just Elizabeth and me. We'll just be talking about some things. And really, I want to express my gratitude in that segment. So stay with us, folks. This is 570 WSYR. And we're here, just talking about all kinds of cool stuff. It's so much fun. This is Your Health Matters. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to strengthen your body, improve your bone density, and take control of your health? Meet biodensity, the revolutionary technology that transforms the way we build strength and fight against bone loss. With just one session a week, biodensity helps you safely apply high levels of force to your bones and muscles, stimulating natural growth and improvement. It's scientifically backed, non-invasive system proven to increase bone density, build type 2 muscle fibers, lower A1C, and reduce fall risks. Whether you're recovering from an injury, managing osteoporosis, or simply looking to maintain a strong, healthy body, biodensity is for you. Best of all, it's quick, efficient, and perfect for people of all fitness levels. Don't let age or health concerns hold you back. Experience the difference biodensity can make in your life. Visit karlsterling.com and go to the sponsors tab to learn more and schedule your session today. That's karlsterling.com. Biodensity, because stronger bones means a stronger you. Are you ready to take control of your health and feel your best? At NeuroMotor Training, we specialize in helping you move better, think sharper, and stay independent for life. Our unique programs are designed to reduce your risk of falls, improve movement and mobility, boost memory and cognition, and enhance fine motor and multitasking skills. And here's the best part. We're the only clinic with a program proven to reverse osteoporosis with our state-of-the-art biodensity machine. Imagine stronger bones and a more confident you. At NeuroMotor Training, your health and independence are our top priorities. Visit us at karlsterling.com or call 315-935-7488 to schedule your first session. That's 315-935-7488. Don't wait to take the next step toward a healthier, happier you. NeuroMotor Training, where better health begins.
Okay, folks, we are back for the last segment here on News Radio 570. And, well, it's been a great year. I've enjoyed it so much. Thank you. Oh, my gosh, I can't believe it.
Thank you for having me and doing all of this, the job, the radio show. I really appreciate it. I am very grateful for this. It's changed my life. It's changed me.
Well,
Really.
I am, and we are those who come in here. We're lucky to have you here. You know, like Mark Victor Hansen says, and like we've talked about before on the show, we can all make a difference. I mean, you talked about a story last week of giving somebody a compliment. That made a difference.
Yes, it did.
Right? I mean, I remember recently I was out to dinner somewhere. I left extra tip for the waitress. You know, she was just so nice. There's something special about her. So I left extra than I would usually leave, much extra. And she actually ended up coming back and catching me on the way. You didn't have to do that. But I know, but you're special. You're really good. Just keep being you. You know, and sometimes people have that effect where maybe you can't give them an extra tip, but even a compliment. You know, I had told her earlier, I said, you're awesome. You're just great. Because sometimes you get that kind of person, right?
Yeah. Sometimes they're just amazing people, and you have to, you don't have to give them a compliment because they work so hard.
Yeah, and I want that person to know that I felt extra special, and it was just a normal dinner. I mean, I just had some, dinner. That's it, and the salad and whatever. But you know what? She made it a good really good experience, and those little things. She made a difference. She probably didn't even try to. I don't know, but we can make differences, all of us. Of course, that's what we want to do here on the show, is to help inspire people and motivate people. We do bring you some stuff that's a little on the edge, maybe for some, pushing the envelope, if you will. But normal gets normal results, and I just refuse to be normal. That's why we have an abnormal clinic with 2 abnormal people working at it.
Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, well, you're abnormal in a really good way. But, you make a big difference. You make a huge difference for the people here. So I want to thank you. I have so much gratitude for you. Had it not been for my godmother, who's your stepmother, Teresa, if you're listening, we call you Mother Teresa for a reason. She's an amazing, amazing human.
She's changed my life. She's been in my life for a very long time now, over 30 years, I believe now. I can't tell you, she is the one person that has taught me to love myself, and she's always, always, always told me to do that I am worthy of love. And it was a very hard thing for me to listen to. I've never accepted compliments very well. I am getting better at it. I just say thank you. Excuse me. And she's a wonderful woman. She's probably the most positive woman I've ever met in my whole entire life.
She has a magic about her. And
magic, it's her faith.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
In life experience.
Yeah, so resilient. I mean, all the things she's going through.
She often tells me a story when She lost her first husband a long time ago. And she told me that when she used to struggle, she used to thank God just for the shoelaces on her shoes or the tires on her car or anything little, just to find something to be thankful for. And it got her through hard times. And it's amazing to listen to her story. She's probably the one person that's been through everything and has just come out stronger and happier and joyful. I can't say anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Last week I brought up something which I'll repeat again here. I mean, especially this is a holiday season. We've had Christmas this week now. We're into Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah for those Kwanzaa. Happy New Year this coming week. You know, we come back on January 5th, continuing the 2-hour format because so much we're going to be knocking down early in January with some great guests. But like I said last week, when I get up in the morning, I do the shower. I do the espresso right before the gratitude because I don't really want to wait for my espresso. Do the espresso, get right down on the floor, hit knees to the floor, get him to my child pose first stretch I do in the morning. And thank God for everything and everyone, because I got to get up another day. Does that sound ridiculous? Not to me, it doesn't, because so far I've been getting up every day. You know, there will be a day for all of us when we're no longer waking up. I'm glad and grateful I wake up today. I have my health. I work on my health. Some people work on it and they don't have it. A lot of people don't work on it and they don't have it. Well, we're here to help. You know where to get us. If you have questions, you want to look into changing your life, changing your health, feeling better, living longer, putting more health span in your lifespan, that would be karlsterling.com, Karl with a K. But gratitude has been the thing getting me through so much with mom passing away. You know, it just hit me so hard and so fast, so hard. I mean, she's on a Saturday calling me, do you think I should wait to go to the hospital? I said, no. 6 days later, she's gone. But we had the most magical, beautiful ending, which I'll tell everybody about at some point in January. But I thank God now that I had that mom. I had my mom. I had those memories, these memories. I had this upbringing. Some people don't have that.
No, not
No.
at all. No.
They're living in maybe a foster home that could be great, or maybe, well, Mother Teresa lost her.
She lost her father at 4 months old.
Yeah.
She never knew her father, and then she lost her mother at 16 months, or 16 years, excuse me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the beginning of her life, you know?
Yeah, my dad lost his dad when he was 1. He never knew his dad. Some people lose their mom when they don't remember their moms. I mean, so I had my mom. She taught me so much, and I knew she knew because I told her in her last breaths, and she was fully conscious, what she gave to me: moral compass, values, integrity, work ethic, and just being kind. You know, I mean, we had problems, yeah, but doesn't everybody? But more than anything, we had love. So I have so much to be grateful for. And I am grateful for you listening to this show. And I'll just say it on air. Thanks to those who have joined me as guests this year, because without you, the show wouldn't be the same. And same for you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Be safe out there if you're going out, you know, be safe.
The Christmas season, even though it's the 29th.
Yeah, right.
Some days of Christmas.
Yeah, it sure is. And we got about a minute to go. We are, I think one of the first episodes coming up in January is going to be have tos versus get tos. And we kind of hit on this last week. I get to come here, do this work. I get to come here, do this show. I get to do these things rather than I have to do these things. I'm so lucky I get to do these things. Sometimes I don't want to do the things I have to do, but I get to do them. I'm glad I can do anything. In closing, you have any words of wisdom?
I just hope that everybody takes care of themselves, do the best for yourself and your families, and be so you're not a burden for your loved ones. Just try to get healthy and strong, and I wish you the best.
Will Smogan, Love that. I love it. I love that. I couldn't said it better. And I just want to say, be kind, show compassion, show a random act of kindness. This is News Radio 570 WSYR. Your Health Matters with Elizabeth Bruce and Karl Sterling. Happy New Year. Be safe. We'll be back at it next week. Thanks for listening.